Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont. And in the interesting saga of video game layoffs, had to think for a second. We've got this story coming out of Games Radar. With Steam players down over 90%, Splitgate 2 dev unreleases the game, lays off more staff, and plans to shut down OG servers as fans fear another live service death. We understand it's our last chance. Some people may never come back, and that's on us. This is nuts because that's what, three live service games in the past year and a half, year-ish, that have announced that they're going to be shutting down forever after being out for a very short time. And there was some controversy around Splitgate 2. I guess one of the lead developers or the creator said some dumb shit online, which why do you got to get political online? Just the only thing you should talk about as a game developer when you go online is your game. You should stay out of the political circle. You should stay out of cultural spaces that don't directly involve your stuff. You should spend the next year minimum promoting your game. And when you start talking about other stuff, people get annoyed. Gamers are fed up. They just want games. They want people to talk about the game. They want them to explain what the game is, hype the game, push the game. That's what they're looking for. For many of you out there, you just lost the game, but that's something else. Now, let's get into this story. After a disappointing Steam launch that seen steep player drop off, Splitgate 2 Studio 1047 Games is attempting the gamble that has seen the death of multiple live service games, the multiverses to Amazon's Crucible, the dreaded unreleased and relaunch. We're going back to beta, the studio declares in a new Steam post. We'll be heads down until early next year, rebuilding major parts of the game to capture the spirit of what made Splitgate special. That means reworking progression from the ground up, adding more portals to our maps, simplifying monetization, refocusing on classic game modes you've been asking for, and more, which we'll share soon. Splitgate 2 will remain playable and will still be shipping Chapter 3 as well as fixes and high priority changes. 1047 somewhat confusingly adds. But before I criticize this headline for being completely misleading, let's finish the article because I have a habit of doing that. The part of the problem with the drastic emergency countermeasure, it always muddies the water on already muddy launches, and Splitgate's 2 launch has definitely been muddy. SteamDB shows the Splitgate 2 peak at 25,785 concurrent players last month, but steady decline has led it to a 24-hour peak of 1,800, a 93% drop off depending on the day and time. Splitgate 2 has racked up 18,000, 61% positive Steam reviews to the original Splitgate's 90%, 91% positive, 111,700 lifetime reviews. It hasn't gone well, you could say, or as 1047 put it, we launched too early. We had ambitious goals with Splitgate 2, and in our excitement to share it with you, we've been off of more than we could chew. We rushed certain features, made some boneheaded mistakes, and most importantly, we didn't give you the polished, portal-filled mayhem you fell in love with. This has been a major problem with games lately, is they set unrealistic deadlines or they set deadlines and then realize they can't meet them. And some games push it back. GTA pushed it back, although I don't think GTA was pushing it back because the game wasn't ready. Firmly believe that they were waiting to see if the $80 video game price point became the norm so they could charge $80. I 100% believe that. It seems that 80 might be too steep of a jump. A lot of games are going to 70 and people are, on board because it's only $10. But that was my belief with GTA 6. I think that game's ready to launch. They could launch that shit right now. They could go, yo, stealth release, it's out. Boom. And people would buy it like crazy. I honestly believe the GTA thing was about waiting to see if they could charge $80. That's my belief. But there is a major problem with games right now releasing in unfinished states. It's notoriously happened to major releases like Cyberpunk 2077. Major release. Assassin's Creed games have been notorious for, I think, the three games prior to Odyssey. And then I think Valhalla launched with problems. Odyssey seems to be the only game that they made that was fun, expansive, built on the world of Assassin's Creed, and didn't have major problems. But I could be wrong. I ignored Odyssey up until the point when everyone kept saying that it's not a true Assassin's Creed game. So I decided to play it because I'm fucking tired of Assassin's Creed games. I've been tired of them since Revelations. I played 3, hated it. I played 4 because they put a huge focus on the ship mechanics. And had Ubisoft just made a naval combat pirates versus corsairs, or, well, yeah, if they'd made like a pirates versus the Armada, corsairs versus, you know, Europe, some kind of just giant spectacle naval combat game, I probably would have loved the hell of it. It'd still be great. Not Sea of Thieves. I mean, just straight up naval combat. But I'm way off on a rant here. I'm way off the subject matter. Where was I? We're talking about Splitgate 2 and the problem with them releasing unfinished games. And they admit it, which is going to hurt the game even more because once people get a taste for something, if you withdraw it and then come back later, very unlikely that they're going to want to return. Where was I? Additionally, the studio announced that we've made the incredibly difficult decision to reduce certain roles and shift our resources to focus on this rework, laying off yet more people just weeks after the last cut. Fuck, that's bad because they did just lay off some people a couple weeks ago because of issues with the game. And to top it off, we're also going to be shutting down OG Splitgate servers in a month, 1047 says. So not only are they withdrawing most of the support for this game, Splitgate 2, they're going to take away Splitgate 1 for you. Um, Stop Killing Games is going to lose their minds. They're going to be looking to add this one to the list probably. We face a lot of dark days and have made many mistakes, but we've learned a lot and are as determined as ever to make Splitgate as great as possible. You mean Splitgate 2? Because you're about to kill Splitgate 1. Co-founders Ian Prohl and Nicholas Bogamian concluded. Prohl, you may remember, made several headlines last month in a protracted saga apologizing for a Summer Game Fest snafu. Splitgate has been our life for 10 years and we wouldn't have it any other way. We've got work to do, but we aren't giving up. Yeah, this was, I guess, the guy that went on social media and said some stupid things not related to video games, which is just a death rattle for many companies, especially small ones. Don't stir the pot, right? You want to come up, you want to delve into the pot, take a sip, grab a spoon, take a little bit, maybe a ladle's worth. But when you come in and you stir the pot, you're going to piss people off. 1047 is calling on players now more than ever to help shape the game into what it was apparently meant to be. But this glut of bad news hasn't inspired confidence across the community. Unreleasing the game the first time killed it off. It was doing well before that, read a top reply to one of the Reddit posts sharing the news. You get one chance to make a first impression. Yep, you get one chance to make a first impression. That's why it's called a first impression. And that's why many people won't come back after that. There are people to this day who refuse to play No Man's Sky, even though they finally delivered, albeit years later, the product that they had announced originally. But they won't come back because you only get one chance to make a first impression. That first impression soured people's taste, and they said they don't care what you do later on. I'm not coming back. Same thing with Starfield. Doesn't matter if Starfield eventually becomes the grand experience that Bethesda claimed it would be. The initial game that came out was boring as fuck. You built 500 worlds and 499 of them were empty and desolate and not worth visiting. Plus, this whole endless cycle shit gets kind of annoying. Some people like it. I don't know. I don't like when games make me repeat the game over again for little to no effect as part of the story. I'm directly looking at you, Bravely Default. Like, fuck you for making me play that game 4 times just to beat it and get the real ending. But yeah, you one impression, or one first impression is what you get. Let's put an F in the chat for the OG Splitgate. The top reply in the Splitgate subreddit laments. The official Splitgate subreddit account has been addressing comments and concerns where possible, but it's all a bit down all over. It's all a bit down all over. We understand it's our last chance, the studio said in response to one user hoping to relaunch somehow works out. All we can do now is hope to build the Splitgate everyone deserves. Addressing the plan for the original Splitgate, the devs added, we're still exploring options to how best to serve players who want to play Splitgate 1. Specifics haven't been decided yet. How are you going to serve them if you shut the servers down? What does that even mean? So these people are constantly contradicting themselves, and I think that's why their company is failing. They release one statement and then another statement that doesn't make sense because it doesn't line up with the original statement. Your shit's got to make sense, guys. You've got to have a cohesive structure and plan, right? A plan is not a jigsaw puzzle, and a jigsaw puzzle is not a plan. It needs to be already formulated in order for people to want to be on board. Nobody wants to come into a game where it's like, hey, help us figure this out. Those are called testers and they get paid for their time. People don't pay to be testers, right? So that's what you're asking when you do this shit. And also, when you kill legacy games, you're just saying, hey, don't play our old game anymore. It's why I stopped playing Overwatch, because they said Overwatch literally turned into Overwatch 2. Like I logged in one day, I was playing Overwatch. The next day it said updating the game, and when it finished updating, Overwatch had turned into Overwatch 2, and there just is no Overwatch 1 anymore. It's just gone. Doesn't exist. Some people may never come back, and that's on us. Another dev replied, admits, all we can do is work hard to deliver the game you all deserve. I know I sound very down about the odds and optics here, and that's because I am, but there is some merit to a relaunch, and some games have won this gamble in the past, but boy does 1047 have its work cut out for it. Yeah, they absolutely have their work cut out for them, and I don't think they're going to recover. I think too much damage has been done. I think that guy running his mouth, them announcing the redraw and going back to the beta basically, is going to substantially hurt them. And I think killing the Splitgate 1 servers is going to be the final nail in the coffin, the final hole in the ship. It's just done. They're going to start sinking, and I don't believe them capable of returning. And if they do manage to do a return, I'll do a video about that, but I just don't see it happening. I don't. Not with all of the negative press and all of the bad shit that's been happening. I think Splitgate 2 might be over. I think it might be time for this studio to start looking towards the future of another franchise or something. Or maybe they won't be able to recover and it'll be just another shutdown studio in the sad list of shutdown studios in the past couple of years, because double layoffs in a span of a month, not good. Closing a server of a game that people like, not good. Going back to the drawing board and reversing your release back to beta status, not good. But that's all I have for this story. This is your host, Belmont, signing out.